Hello.
I want you guys to meet my new friend Eek to the podcast. He's here especially for this episode.
Hi, Eek.
What's that? Today we're going to be talking about killer dolls, mannequins, puppets. Are you sure? Puppets and AI.
Welcome back to Let Us In Podcast. And Eek said we are going to be covering dolls, toys, AI, puppets, and mannequins. I think there's a specific movie reason for that. I'm Justine, aka JustineUFF.
I'm Emma, aka Emma of the Impact.
And I'm Crystal, aka Creepin. It's spooky.
You and Eek have some history for us.
I'm gonna be serious. I treat you seriously, okay? Do you get that? Yes. 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 Okay. Let your arms fall where they may, Eek. So AI is a little bit separate from killer dolls and toys, but which I thought the intention of this episode was in preparation for the movie that might just have all the good bits in the trailer, or the movie that just might be really freaking awesome from Blumhouse, Megan. But apparently it was also inspired by a movie called Margot. Is that true, Justine?
Yeah, Margot was on the calendar for a new release that I believe it went to Paramount. And now I don't remember. But it was a VOD, like straight to VOD, then straight to streaming. It was not good. So
Anybody in it that we would know? Or that's
if you're Disney Channel watchers, you might know.
No, I was a Nickelodeon kid.
There's two Disney stars in it and a CW stars.
No.
If you watch the 100, Murphy is in it, and he's the best thing about it, to be honest.
The 100 what?
They're 100
series,
prisoners that are sent to Earth to see if it's habitable again.
Okay.
It was a very good show. I really liked that show. Anyways, Murphy was on it. He was my favorite character. I stopped watching that show after they killed him. Spoiler alert. But he was in this movie and he was fantastic. He was hilarious. He really owned the role. I hope to see him other stuff because I think this movie is trash and he shined. The other guy is from The Descendants and he played one of the princes. I don't know. My kids like that show, those movies. So he's in that. And then I think the main character, the main girl is also from Disney, but I'm not sure what. Maybe like The Sweet Life or something. I couldn't tell you. But Disney kids. Yeah. Great idea. Cool kills here and there, but not good. There's some really bad choices as far as like CGI design. Like, why did everything have to be CGI? And it was really strange.
So Sydney Prescott in the chat says, which I suspiciously think is a friend of yours, Justine, because they say they killed off Murphy. Didn't expect to hear about the 100 on this episode. I don't even know what that is.
They did. Yeah. I don't know how many seasons there are now, but it was a long time ago, and I just stopped watching it because I just didn't care about anybody else. Poor Murphy. Anyways. No, I didn't expect to talk about the 100 on here either. So you had some history of
I do.
For us, right? Let's move away from Margot because it was garbage.
Okay. Oh, all right. So we included AI, but also thematically, it really actually works very much with killer dolls and toys, our relationship to AI when it comes to humanity. But the beginning of killer dolls and toys starts with vaudeville, of course. So that's ventriloquism, which I had to admit, okay, which is not a surprise, probably for anybody that knows me or has watched this podcast long enough. I have a secret affinity for ventriloquism. I cannot do it. Otherwise, I would have done it by now. But there's actually a ventriloquism convention I've been meaning to go to in Pennsylvania, where when a ventriloquist dies, they usually send their ventriloquist dummy to this ventriloquism museum.
I'm sorry. Oh, you mean they don't get buried with them?
Some maybe, but they usually go to the Vent Haven Museum in Pennsylvania.
I bet that place is haunted as fuck.
Definitely. 100%.
Anyway, so it starts with The Great Gabbo, which is definitely a film of its time. I rewatched it. I had my dad's copy of The Great Gabbo. The director, who was an insufferable person, surprise, played the lead. He also directed Sunset Boulevard, that big famous line, "I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille." He directed a lot of big Hollywood. So he was a talented man, but so some people say he was playing himself when he played the Great Gabbo. Gabbo was the performer, and his dummy was Otto. And the way that he would be able to express nice emotions or kind emotions was through his ventriloquist dummy, Otto. He had a girlfriend who she's blonde, and she talks very much like Betty Boop, and she sings like Betty Boop. She's part of the act, and she leaves him, and then he tries to woo her back. But all his positive emotions are spoken through Otto. The only time he's nice is through his ventriloquist dummy, Otto. And oh God, there is no reason. There is no reason for this woman to like him. He's not.
Man getting it off easy. I'm just saying.
No, he is nothing but insufferable.
I did not say that right.
To the last moment. He is insufferable to the last moment. We don't even see the moments that the dummy is nice to her. Like, we just see him being insufferable and her being like, I like him. He's not even hot.
I like him.
There's nothing, and you can't imagine that he's good at sex. So there's
the
like
dawn
nothing,
of time.
There is nothing he's offering, but for some reason, she's all about him. And so that story kind of transpires. His descent into madness, if you will, goes through him expressing and projecting his emotions onto his ventriloquist dummy, Otto.
Is that what inspired Magic, you think? Because that's what I get from Magic.
After that was In the Dead of Night, which is a better movie because The Great Gabbo came out in the 20s, and it does have sound, but it is a very much a product of its time in the sense that we see some of the other vaudeville acts that are just a singing group perform a whole act of this old song for no reason that has no connection to anything. We see the Great Gabbo perform his ventriloquist act quite a few times, and it is exactly what you expect, where he's drinking a glass of water while the Great Gabbo tells all these usual ventriloquist jokes. Crystal already made like, I'm tired of this sound just by hearing about it. It is not a bad movie, but it is a product. That's me during that. Yeah, okay. Let's just.
That was me understanding.
I know. Not me. I was ready to be done. For the time, it fit. It has its role. It's not a bad movie. I don't not recommend it. And then In the Dead of Night is definitely a better story about the descent of him into madness, and the three categories I consider for dolls, puppets, and AI in thematic terms. And one of them is the projection of one's own emotions that we can't express for whatever reason. I don't want to express my good feelings, which is the truth for the Great Gabbo, but in The Dark of Night and Magic, which we'll talk about, it's more so the negative emotions. Hey, don't you got a big nose? Or, hey, aren't you a loser? I know I'm a loser. Stop. So harsh. I know he's kidding. He loves me very much. We don't have that kind of relationship. We are good friends.
You made yourself a friend.
I did, just like May, which could count in this category. It starts with ventriloquism. Also, I think because children of the Depression, like, they didn't really have dolls. You were a really rich kid until later on. So the idea of an evil entity possessing the doll, or a child anthropomorphizing their anger onto a doll or puppet isn't a concept that would have happened at that time. That's why so many of these early films are about ventriloquist dummies. It's the Freudian idea of the uncanny valley. Freud didn't come up with the uncanny valley, but the idea of the uncanny, that something is out of place. Something looks familiar but is out of place. Like when you're a kid and you see your teacher at the supermarket. Like, whoa, like, weird to see Mrs. Here. The idea that something looks human but isn't.
Close to human but isn't, yeah.
When it comes to AI, just like our last episode, you may be cool, but you're not as cool as Fritz Lang's eye patch. The first AI film is in 1927 with Metropolis. And Maria is android created by the evil mad scientist to create chaos in Metropolis and humanity. But she's burned at the stake, thought to be human, and they find out her true nature. It's very blatant, as into AI being bad. And then the next notable one is The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is where
Blade Runner.
Well, 1951.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Blade Runner's coming. That's another big one.
I'm sorry.
1951, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
Who is an 8-foot tall android that's owned by protecting an alien. Basically, the ultimatum between humankind during the Cold War, of course, to make peace or be destroyed. It's an AI that is notable. And then the next...
I never realized it was an AI. I thought he was just an alien. I didn't know that.
So I just thought of him as like a robot. Doing my research, he kept on coming up as an AI because he had his own sentience and thoughts beyond his master.
Yeah.
And that is a question that keeps coming up in these movies, even if it's just a doll. So the next most notable AI is... I'm sorry, I keep bringing him up, you guys. Film Bro and me's gotta... Stanley Kubrick's 2001...
Space Odyssey.
But it's true.
Oh, Kubrick.
Yeah. And having cultural significance. Damn it.
God damn you.
God damn it.
All right, Eve, you better be distracting.
I'm sorry. The fact that he can distract you really gives me a compliment that he's effective. Thank you.
Yes.
Crystal makes me feel so special.
Because I laugh.
Because you always laugh at my jokes. They're so dumb.
I always find them funny.
I am so deadpan, and I usually never get laughs, and you always get me.
I usually get you guys really serious. What happens to me is I'll say something, you guys are like, oh. I'm like, I'm kidding. And then you're like, oh, okay. Weird.
Because your deadpan is so good, and it happens at times where you could feel that way.
That's true.
And I'm not sure. Whereas obviously I don't think that's a real thing.
No, but sometimes it's a little embarrassing because I'll say something so film bro and they'll believe that I mean it and I'm like, serious?
Yeah, I mean
you talk about Kubrick, here we are.
You can't erase the cultural significance of somebody just because they were an asshole.
No matter how hard we try.
Depending. There are exceptions. Anyway, with 2001: A Space Odyssey, 1968, we have HAL 2000, Daisy. You know that? Yeah. That begins the concept that AI evolves above us and then tries to kill us. That's the main objective. And then really there's not much history to really go over. Things go really crazy with killer dolls, killer toys, and AI, especially as you were mentioning, Blade Runner is such a pivotal story when it comes to AI and the idea of what is sentience, which actually we haven't defined yet as a species, and we probably never will because it's beyond our comprehension.
Yeah, I love Blade Runner so much. And 2049 too.
I've never seen it. I know. I know.
That's something that I am pretty film bro about. I love Blade Runner.
Are you
I'll
kidding?
watch it. I'll watch it one day.
I'll watch it one day.
There's a lot of I've talked about this very openly on the internet. There's a lot of very famous movies I have never watched.
I hate
that's
that
one of them.
I hate that I'm the person that has a visceral reaction.
It's not that I'm saying I will never watch it. I just haven't got around
that's
to
why
it.
I hate that I have a visceral reaction to it. Like what? Like it's so good.
And this is why I do this, is to learn about new movies to watch.
Oh yeah, Optimisty, Skynet, Terminator.
So that's Terminator.
Terminator,
Oh,
Skynet
I thought that was a movie. Sorry.
Yeah. So, dirty little secret is that Terminator 1 is better. No, I'm gonna disagree with you. Agree with you on that one, Optimisty. Sorry, buddy.
Optimisty. I think they're different, Optimisty, but that's my usual take.
Terminator 2 is one of those few. Well, actually, I'm one of those people who has a lot of sequels I like better than the originals.
I think they're different.
That's one of them. But anyways.
But when it comes to Skynet is another that is under the theme of AI or The Matrix is another one that comes under the theme of AI progressing above us, controlling us, using us. But getting back to toys, there was a movie that I first watched one of the sequels, and then I watched the original film by the David S. Goyer. David S. Goyer, who wrote Dark City, The Dark Knight, and Demonic Toys. And Demonic Toys is a Bad Moon feature. And those
Is it? I loved it so much.
God.
I love this one
Demonic
so much.
Toys, all the Puppet Masters, Charles Band, Full Moon features. And for those of you that don't know Full Moon features, if it's a cheesy movie from the late 80s, especially the 90s, it's probably a Full Moon feature. Charles Band is actually a really kick-ass guy. I met him at a con. Oh my god. So he was at like the last horror con I went in like 2010. And he had a huge booth in the center of the room, which is weird. Like it was like round, like he had booths put, like it was made for him. And he had a lot of the puppets from Puppet Master. And he was just giving away movies to everybody with his signature. Sweetest guy. He's awesome in an interview. You could tell through his films and that he's a perv, but a harmless perv. I love Charles Band.
The first Puppet Master with the whole reliving people having sex and stuff in different places or getting murdered and like channeling of that. Oh my god. How
Charles
can we
Band.
squeeze in as much sex without just to talk about sex? We just want to talk about sex a lot in this movie. So we're gonna have this lady that no matter where she is, she's going to experience the sex that was had in that room. And
that's Charles Band. That's Charles
remember
Band.
Do you remember the bathtub scene where she's in the bathtub?
Yes.
She's like, oh, the last two women from like the 1900s that were in here. I'm just living. And like the guy's like, what about the dude and that other chick? Why don't you tell me when that happens? Really, guys?
Don't worry, guys. We're going to talk plenty about Baby Oopsie. Don't worry.
Oh,
yeah, I got a bone to pick with Baby Oopsie.
Baby Oopsie was a demonic toy, not a puppet master. But Charles Band, he's a really, actually a very sweet person. I've also heard from other people that he's a very sweet person. Charles Band, I'm behind. He's a harmless pervert. Seal of approval on him, for me.
Me too. I loved every moment of it. I talk shit, but I loved it. I loved it.
So Demonic Toys, written by the writer of The Dark Knight, with the Joker and everything like that, and Dark City. Like any movie about a demonic toy or puppet, starts with an illegal arms deal gone wrong, as you would expect. Oh, I just he's like, oh no, like,
hey cab. Sorry.
Yes. No, but Demonic Toys, it has some fun additions, but with Demonic Toys, so it has a grizzly bear, it has a Jack in the Box, Baby Oopsie Daisy, which is like the leader of the pack for some reason. I hate Baby Oopsie Daisy like a lot because I hate baby dolls. I don't mind dolls. I don't mind babies, but baby dolls I have a problem with. There's a problem there. I don't like it. It's basically what you would expect. There's like a hold 'em up and the demonic toys happen to be there, and there's a lot of waiting around. Is something you should expect from a Bad Moons feature.
Dream sequences.
Dream sequences, yes, and a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
And a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
I tried to think about what describes how Full Moon features
there was
portrays
a toy robot
life.
too. Yeah.
I was like, it's not cartoonish because cartoon implies that it's like way over the top. More like a serious anime where you'll be watching the action and the characters will also be telling you exactly what's happening at the same time. Like, oh no, Sailor Moon is fighting Queen Divinity for the Moon Crystal. It's like, yeah, we're watching that happen. Tuxedo Mask, thank you for telling us.
Thank you for the play-by-play.
Thank you for the play-by-play. Or Dragon Ball Z. It's like one of the older serial animes. Is like a full moon feature, trying to depict life seriously.
A little too much exposition.
Oh no, a lot too much. A lot too much. Demonic Toys 2 doesn't happen until a while later. The first Demonic Toys sequel is Demonic Toys versus Doll Man, which to understand that one is another full moon feature. I'm not going to get into it, you guys. It's just going to take time. Also, you had to have seen Bad Channels, which is another full moon feature. not gonna get into it. But let's get into the next one, which is technically not a full moon feature, not connected to Charles Band. Charles Band considers this movie not canon, and whoever taught Charles Band the word canon is either a fool or a genius. But this movie is Demonic Toys versus Puppet Master, starring Corey Feldman.
I loved this one so much.
It's
I
my
had,
sci-fi.
it is honestly my favorite out of all of the Puppet Master and Demonic Toys that I watched. It is my favorite. It is so good. Plus, okay, so in the first Puppet Master, the puppets are kind of adorable. They're sweet. They make noises and they pitter patter around with their POVs and they make ooh noises. You know what I'm saying? They're cute. They're cute. And they have their master and they just want to be protected by their master. But he's got a plan. They're just involved, right? But in Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys, they're like heroes. They're like buddy pal good guys.
No, the Puppet Master puppets, especially Blade and Pinhead, they fight Nazis quite often, Justine. You obviously have.
Oh, yes. Corey Feldman told
have
me.
Have you seen like the 14
hundreds of
Puppet
times.
Master movies? Anyway, Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys it's a fun. It's really Corey that makes it really fun for me. He's 33 in this movie, and they give him
my
like
favorite
they put,
role
like,
he's ever been in since Lost Boys. I'm not even exaggerating. I loved it.
They put hair
spray or something.
Cosplay hair wax. It's not or hairspray in his hair, and he wears glasses, and he talks.
It's like
roughly.
gray blue color. Like they tried to age him a little bit, and he talks like this. Like,
supposed to be
like he's old and crotchety and I got an older but I'm hitting him hitting on the cop is so much fun though. I love the fact that they have this like thing.
He's so nervous.
He's so suave though at the same time. He's like, I can get your number. She's like, here's my number. He lets her go. Or she lets him go later. After meeting him once, she meets him again, and it's like at this gala thing where they're like receiving donations from this evil.
Okay,
and
the
this
evil toy lady is hot though. Come on,
she is so hot, but she reminds me of the squirrel girl from Willy Wonka. Veruca Salt. She's like an older Veruca Salt. If Veruca Salt's dad sold his soul to give her toys, fight for her. That is her.
I want a golden goose.
She does. She said that. She's like, no, I want you to bring me my puppets and the formula tonight. I want it now.
That isn't canon, by the way, according to Charles Band. Important to know. Not canon to either the Full Moon features Demonic Toys or Puppet Master. Like it matters. It totally doesn't. It totally doesn't. Is that this demon brought the Demonic Toys back to life. Unlike the original Demonic Toys, where it was this little boy that wanted to come back. That was a
demon. It was a demon boy, yeah, like a demon boy with really
now
cool
it's like
eye contact.
It's similar to how the devil looks in the Pick of Destiny for the Jack Black movie, The Pick of Destiny.
No,
like, yeah,
kind of. If Dave Grohl's devil, had a baby with Darth Maul, then it would be this guy. And we're gonna have him right here. But yeah, he's very spicy.
And then everything's over. What happened at the end? I can't tell you. I just recently rewatched it.
I didn't get to the ending because I had
I
to
did.
filming.
The sun comes up and pretty much everyone just calls it quits.
It had to be done before Christmas morning, right?
Yes.
Or he was going to Bart.
This is also a Christmas movie, by the way, you guys.
Literally is now on my top favorite like holiday horrors now.
Really?
It's so fun. Oh my, yeah, it is so fun. Okay, so this cop meets this dude once, Corey Feldman, and he's so suave with her that when he busts down into this like gala and screaming about how baby Oopsie is like alive, all the toys are alive and they're evil and they're stealing his property, copyright infringement. What was it? Corporate espionage. Screaming this stuff, going crazy.
Corporate espionage is the big reason he's going to the cops, that they are videotaping him.
Not that baby Oopsie attacked him and that his blood like brings toys alive. So she arrests him. The mayor is there and he's like, "What's that man?" she lets him go because she's so hard up for this man.
Wow.
And says, just call me. And then takes 2 dolls home to her kids. So
Oh,
she doesn't
wow.
believe him. She doesn't
No,
believe
she
him.
takes a few dolls home to her sister because she's
Her
the
sister's
aunt.
kids. She doesn't
Her
have kids. That's
sister's
right.
kids.
Yeah, her sister's
She doesn't
kids.
have kids because she hasn't met Corey Feldman with the gray hair yet.
Wow. This is going on my holiday watch list.
It's a love story epic for the times. I'm telling you.
I won't
Wonderful.
go into it too much, but another one that is not in the same world as this, but is very similar, that is killer toys and a killer mannequin, Pinocchio kind of scenario, is Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, which I mentioned a little bit in our holiday episode, where Mickey Rooney...
2 holiday killer toys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
Krampus,
there's not-
too.
Krampus as well. But it's Mickey Rooney really trashed the first Silent Night, Deadly Night when it came out, saying about how demoralizing it is, blah, blah, blah. And then he's in the 5th one, whatever. Playing a Geppetto type character. The whole point of the movie is he's created this living Pinocchio through a mannequin. And he also has a lot of weird mannequins. And it's not Mickey Rooney, just so you know. He's more of like the grandpa type. But his mannequin Pinocchio character is creating these killer toys and sending them out to kids. And that's all I'll say about it. That's Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 for those that are interested.
I watched Krampus 4 times this last weekend. 4 times.
Oh my
because
God.
my daughter loves Krampus so much. And she was introduced to it maybe last year, because someone gifted me like the 4K Krampus DVD. And
that's a good friend.
She immediately was like, look at the toys. I love the bear with the teeth, which is probably where she learned to draw that bear with the teeth.
Oh,
do you have it? Do you have it? Show us your daughter's drawing. How old is your daughter again? Let us know.
She's 4.
She's 4. Look at this drawing. I think Justine has a haunting. I think Justine has a haunting.
It's such a good drawing.
It is a great drawing.
This is totally the bear from Krampus.
It is.
That's what it is.
Totally.
So she was obsessed with Krampus last year, and I think for a while she forgot about it. But I got that Krampus pullover from Cavity Colors just recently, and I was wearing it on Friday, and she's like, "Can we watch that?" And so we watched it 4 times this weekend because she loves it so much. She thinks it's so funny, and she loves Krampus. So I'm taking her to Krampusnacht.
There's a Krampusnacht near you?
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
It's an hour away from me, but
That would be
I'm
fun.
gonna take her to that so she can see all the Krampus parade and have a little fun with that.
He can pretend to be a Krampus. He can dress like a
The animatronics in that movie are sublime. I love them so much. I want recreations of all of them. They're so cool. I feel like that's the bar for me on like killer toys. This Krampus.
Oh, well, I especially love the bear because I'm more of a stuffed animal person.
It's
but
so cute.
before
and
we move on from the demonic toy franchise, I was excited to see that Crystal had watched the baby, which was the first. I got to admit, one of the first demonic toy movies I watched was a recent one, Baby Oopsie.
Baby Oopsie is based off of Baby Oopsie Daisy from Demonic Toys, and God,
it's canon.
It is a vulgar little beast. Like, it's pretty vulgar in Demonic Toys, but I swear it is like 10 times more in Baby Oopsie. So many people have told me to watch Baby Oopsie for like 6 years, and I've never watched it. All of these are on Tubi. Tubi has the best collection of full moon feature doll movies. They've got so many. Like, literally all of them.
They have some really independent films. Some of them gems, some of them trash, but some of them gems. But we love independent filmmakers, and it does pay the filmmaker more per view than most streaming services. So if something is on Tubi and other places, yeah, there's a few commercials, but my dogs agree. Watch it on Tubi, give the filmmaker a few more bucks. It makes a difference.
Yeah, it's worth it. Baby Oopsie, I was very pleasantly surprised by. I loved it. I loved every second of it, actually. Even though it was so bad and so stupid, I really had a good time watching it. It was nasty. And it was actually the first one I'd watched too. When I realized that it was like a sequel to Demonic Toys, I had to go back and rewatch that. But I watched Baby Oopsie 2 and Baby Oopsie 3. which do
which is
progressively get worse.
crazy.
They're like 45 minutes long, though. The sequels are super easy to get through. Not worth it, though. Not really worth it. It starts getting really into like, possession stuff, and there's a lot of Exorcist references in Baby Oopsie 3 especially. There's like a whole scene that's exactly like The Exorcist, like down to the tongue wag and the green vomit. It's wild how much they ripped off The Exorcist. But
The Baby Oopsie and the like Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys is a pervert. I don't know if it's a pervert in all the other ones. I don't remember.
it is
But
for sure in Baby Oopsie.
in that one, they like she sacrifices a virgin to this demon, but before she does, she like gives it to the toys, and Baby Oopsie immediately rips her shirt open and is like motorboating her and like biting her.
Oh,
Come on, dude.
The concept that I liked, let's go with something that's modern, about Baby Oopsie. It's about a YouTuber. She's in her 40s, would you say? 30s, 40s?
Yeah.
She collects dolls, restores dolls, and does YouTube show on them. She's somebody that lives in her own world, does her own thing. But there are a lot of guys like really hot for her, which I liked, but she has no time for. Like the male guy, these guys are like, hey, we can spend time. She's like, excuse me, I have things to do. And she doesn't look like she works on the CW is what I mean. She's like a normal looking person. She's not made to look ugly. She's not made to look bad or anything like that, but she's not like conventionally what like they're trying to make her hot either. So I like that there were so many people like, hello, and she's like, forget it.
Yeah, she was so not into it. Who was the lady she lived with? That wasn't her mom. Was that like a roommate?
I can't remember. You watched it more.
A landlord?
I don't remember. You watched it more recently than me.
She was a bitch. She deserved everything she got. She was awful. Terrible person.
But she gets Baby Oopsie, not knowing that obviously Baby Oopsie's a demonic doll, and that's the premise of that one. And Crystal, it is rightfully so that people have been mentioning that to you. It is cheesy. It is what you would expect. It does have its merit. I do recommend it. You have to be a certain person into a certain type of movie, but that's one I would recommend.
Yeah, the cheesy doll movies, that's a pretty good one.
And then we have the option of making a detour into AI, which I'm gonna start talking about Star Trek, to be honest. Get excited, ladies.
I literally could not think of any movies to watch that had AI, but I didn't watch.
I couldn't really
I only
either.
watched horror movies, and I couldn't find anything. Magic. So Magic has Anthony Hopkins, and I thought he was very good looking in it. That's what I could take from it.
Not me.
No, I'm so surprised.
He's fine. He has hair. That's something that's I like Anthony Hopkins. I think he's a fine actor. He naturally has hair in this movie. That's a surprise.
He's very good looking in it. Okay, I think so. But I thought that his acting was really like cool. Like he was such a good character, and he gets really sweaty at times.
He does.
I love a good sweaty. No,
sweaty like worried scene.
You guys know it's in all earnesty. I love a good sweaty protagonist. I do. I love it when there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of sweat. I love it. And you're right, Justine. There's a lot of anxiety in this. But the premise of this movie being that he was a not so good magician, because ventriloquism, those that know, this is not me joking. It's serious. It's serious stuff, you guys.
Serious stuff.
Ventriloquism, because I've looked into the history. It's not like I was super into a ventriloquist once. We're not talking about it. And a magician, magic, is very closely linked. He was a not very good magician, didn't really have a great act, and then got this puppet from someone, Merlin, conveniently named.
Junior.
Yes, Junior. Yes. Named Fats. Fats is the name of the dummy. One of my favorite parts of this movie is Meredith Burgess, who's my favorite part in a lot of movies.
And Margaret is one of those actresses I've gotten compared to, by the way. I can see when I bartended, I used to get that one the most from the old dudes that I would serve. They would always say, "You look like Anne Margaret." Anyway,
that's a compliment.
Sorry, I had red hair like yours, Crystal. Sorry, go ahead. And Burgess, you said?
Meredith Burgess, he plays Rocky's coach in Rocky. He plays the original depiction of the Penguin, and my favorite, Wow. I don't care how much prosthetics that you put on Colin Farrell. Meredith Burgess is still my favorite penguin. Okay, still my favorite penguin. He is one of those fine character actors that is in a lot of top movies. He also was on stage a lot. He also burnt offerings for our haunted house fans. Burnt offerings. Anyway, Meredith Burgess, who plays his agent in this movie, I love him in this movie.
The one that knows he's got like mental.
Yes. So basically, he starts getting some fame. Meredith Burgess, as a talent agent, comes to Anthony Hopkins' characters like, "Hey, you got something, kid." Like in the 70s, really? Okay, are we really into ventriloquism in the 70s? No, but it's a movie. It's fine. And the dummy's
He's a
head.
dirty dummy. That
They're
was a
always
very
dirty. They're
one of the like points that his agent makes is he's like, we're the only rated R or something like that dummy who's gonna like, make dirty jokes and like a dirty dummy. I don't know.
they're always dirty. Who is he talking about? They're always dirty. Always. There's always a wood joke. It's always gonna happen.
You're calling dummy.
I think my favorite thing about the movie was that Anthony Hopkins learned ventriloquism for this role, and apparently,
Oh,
like, it knocked it out of the park. Yeah, within just a couple weeks or months or something of learning it, and it like did so much better than they expected him to do.
Hard.
Because it is hard. Like, I tried to learn it as a kid. I tried to teach myself how to be a ventriloquist, and
I love that about you. I am
yeah.
I am like 40% more attracted to you now. It's a burden that you now have to bear.
I'm not good at it. I never actually got good at it. I wanted to.
Didn't we all go through like a phase like
feel
that
like we
growing
did.
up? Like the
Yeah.
magic, the ventriloquy. Like
total
I
phase.
had
A
a,
total phase.
I had a.
Yeah.
It was because of Slappy. That's why I did
100%.
it. 100%.
Not 'cause of
Slappy was my man.
Not because of Slappy.
Show us Slappy. Yeah, there he is.
That's where the line comes from. Who you calling dummy?
I thought you came up with that.
No, my daughter loves that. We say it to each other all the time because she loves Goosebumps. Like the new one with Jack Black, because she thinks she says R.L. Stein is so handsome.
Oh, she thinks Jack Black is. Oh
Jack
my
Black
God,
is
that's
so
cute.
handsome in that movie. It is the cutest. And
okay, so your daughter already has good taste in men because Jack Black is amazing.
She thinks a lot of men are Prince Charming, so she has a crush on this
Jack
waiter.
Black is a more fun Prince Charming than any Prince Charming
That's
that
true.
ever was.
But she has a crush on this waiter at this restaurant down that we go to a lot called. Anyways, I'm not gonna say what it's called, but she has a crush on that waiter, and he's conventionally like a young, very attractive guy. But he's so sweet to her because she always has to draw him a picture when she's there, and she gives it to him every time, and then he'll hand her a new piece of paper and she'll draw him another picture. So she'll literally spend the entire time we're there just drawing pictures for him if he let her. It's cute. Anyways, yeah, so she loves that line, who you calling dumber? And she repeats it just like that.
The Fats was actually an inspiration for Slappy. This was like what R.L. Stein pulled from, so it's I like how they're all like interconnected. I can see it too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So great.
And it was a bad act. It's one of those things that like he heckles himself through the dummy. And what creates the old problem is Meredith Burgess, who's the guy that's going to be his agent. So like, all you got to do is like, it's part of the procedure. You have to have this physical. You have to go see a doctor. And then Anthony Hopkins kind of registering, knowing that there's something off with him, unwell, just runs away to his hometown. And that's where Anne Margaret, the hot Anne Margaret is, who's a childhood.
She's got such a lovely voice.
She does. The best scene in the movie for me, and this doesn't give anything away too much, is that Meredith Burgess comes and finds Anthony Hopkins' character, and he's okay, you're fine, you're totally cool, you're fine, there's something okay. This is a total normal request for anybody, is that Fats, the ventriloquist dummy, can't speak for 5 minutes. You and I can talk, but Fats can't say anything for 5 minutes. And it is a long feeling like silent 5 minutes that's really intense. That's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of sweating.
The sweaty man. Apparently this is based off of a book, but in the book, Fats is not a thing. It's actually just a disembodied voice. They don't actually use like a dummy in the book.
Really? I didn't know that.
I haven't read the book though. But yeah, apparently it's not an actual dummy, it's just a voice. So they definitely
Pin was also based off of a book.
I didn't get to
This
watch
one,
that one, so you guys are gonna have to take that one on your own.
Oh my
this
god.
one is actually
I
a
love
good roll into because they're similar premises because they both struggle with stuff in
mental
their
health.
head, I guess, in mental health. Yeah, like they're kind of keeping this up in their mind more. Pin was wild.
That it is dark.
Wild.
There is a
It's very
scene
dark.
without we'll get into the premise of Pin without giving away too much about Pin. But let me
Yeah.
tell you, there is a scene where a boyfriend with his newish girlfriend goes to have dinner at her home where she lives with her brother. And her brother's, let me tell you all a poem. Tells them a poem where the protagonist of the poem rapes his sister.
Yeah.
That's the kind of like uncomfortable space this movie lives in.
They do have a weird relationship. They're like oddly close. Like you can tell that she really loves her brother, but like,
yeah, but not
I
in
don't
a
even
sexual
know.
way.
No, not
I
that
don't
way.
feel that way.
Not that way.
No, no.
No, it's just they're
So,
just kind of they have an awkward relationship. I don't know. I don't know how to explain
Mhm.
it. They love each other so much that it's like awkward. I don't know.
Pin is the inanimate object in this. Pin is actually one of those medical, very anatomically correct muscles and everything and all, and eyeballs even. Dummies. His father played who I know you know Justine as the guy from Lost, the bald guy. Yeah, him.
Me too.
You
I love Lost.
He's also in the Valley of Violence with Ethan Hawke. Plays the father of these two children early on, and he's a doctor. And what he does is he has the kids come into his office all the time, and he does a ventriloquist act with this anatomical dummy, where the dummy teaches them lessons about life and things that is normal to teach children. But it starts to get weird when the kid
Not with the anatomical dummy. It wasn't weird yet.
So the where it gets weirder.
Okay.
Like really weird.
Oh, really weird.
Like took it to a next level.
Like this is still not giving anything away. This is still the beginning of the movie. We're still in the beginning of this child's inherited / environmental psychosis that he's gonna go through. So he's in the mind that Pin is real, and he stays behind. No one knows that he stayed behind. I don't remember if he's behind a curtain or in a closet, but he stays behind to talk to Pin. So he's hiding in his father's office, in the doctor's examining room. Okay, and one of the nurses comes in, and he's hiding. Crystal's like, Crystal, do you want to describe what happens?
The nurse comes in, looks at the dummy, looks at the doll, whatever you want to call it, closes the door, and then proceeds to have her way with it.
Like with what?
What do you mean with what? With the whole human-sized doll. She just goes.
Oh, it's a whole human.
It is a full human-sized anatomical doll.
Like, but it's not like anatomical.
Seems like it's because
it is.
It's on top of her, and she's.
Absolutely not. That's so funny.
So the dad is teaching them about sex with Pin, and at one point he goes, "Let's teach you about the male
and they're like
anatomy."
6 years old.
They're like yeah, and so he goes, "Go over and lift the cloth off of his lap to teach the kids about the male anatomy." So there's definitely perfectly anatomical correctness going on this doll. And the nurse took full advantage and decided to use that.
It's a long scene too.
There's a lot of broken people in this movie.
There is. No, there is.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is still the beginning of the movie. What ends up happening
is this isn't even like a pivotal moment. This is just like an intro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's free on YouTube if you want to watch it. The whole premise of this becomes that basically the little girl, the younger sister, tells the dad he really thinks Pin's real to the dad, and the dad gets concerned. And the way I read it is that the dad kind of has his own issues and realizes, okay, to curb that my son might have some unrealistic psychological things going on with Pin. I need to take care of it in a certain way.
I wonder whose fault that was.
I wonder whose fault that was. So the parents die in a car crash with Pin in the car. This movie,
was it to imply like Pin did it?
Pin does move in the back seat conveniently, but I think it's just because of the turn of the car. I don't know. But basically, it becomes mostly about the brother and the sister and how the brother's relationship to this doll, even dressing it, which I guess is a step up, I guess, but at least that pin has
Better than a
clothes on.
cloth.
Dressing it,
yeah.
but then putting a latex skin on it with a wig to make it more human-like. Emma, okay, I could only find this movie on YouTube, like you said. There's a comment in the comment section, and
Oh
it said,
no.
it said, does
Not
the
YouTube
dummy,
comments.
does Pin remind anybody else of Matthew Modine?
No!
I about died because I don't see it, but I laughed so hard. I screenshot it. I should send it to you. It made me laugh so hard.
Just only a few of you. In Stranger Things, where other people have crushes on like Joseph Quinn, or who plays Eddie, or Maya Hawk, or anybody else, I'm like, oh no, excuse me, Matthew Modine is the one for me. Papa. I'm not gonna unpack all of that. I
like Papa.
Yes.
The others are like children to me.
Oh my god. That was my favorite part of the comment reading. Oh my god.
How's he like Papa? Like Puppet.
My face hurts from that.
Sorry, I have age regression issues. I don't have children of my own. I am the kooky aunt type. I make puppets, and I'm into men that are much older than me, and women as well, and they as well. So thank you for the Matthew Modine comment. That led us down a whole road. Personal issues of mine.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Donnie Wahlberg is the most underrated Wahlberg, and honestly, the better actor of the two.
Ooh.
I don't really care about the Wahlbergs. They're like whatever. But and I'm from Boston area. That's like blasphemy for me to say.
Donnie's got moves.
I am going to try to not cry while talking about this. I'm not.
Is it Star Trek?
Yes.
Oh god.
Hit that thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. There's a bell icon. Select that so you can get notified of our next episode. We also go live on Twitch. So if you are watching this on YouTube, we filmed it live on Twitch so you can see us in all of our shenanigans, full glory there. Make sure you subscribe there. Use that Amazon Prime sub if you'd like so that you can get it ad-free. Thank you for joining us, Eek. It was a pleasure.
Bye, little guy.
Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's so cute.